In the first section, we're going to cover theory, and in the second section, there's a practical component where I show you particular stretches to do. I do think it's worth watching the theory section just to understand, because there are going to be a lot of people telling you different things about how to stretch. As soon as someone sees you stretching, you get people coming over telling you to do it this way and that way and how they like to do it. And I'm going to cover some of the research behind how stretching works and what is the most effective method. And that brings us to a good point. How should you actually stretch? You're going to come across a lot of different information from different people about how you should approach this. So I think the best thing first off is to go off the evidence, right? The thing is, when you look at the evidence, stretching works. And actually, all the different types of stretches you look at work. And therefore, it makes sense that people have different experiences, because they could be doing something that's not the best way of doing it or not optimal, but they still say, I had this great result. And they might even say they had less of a result using the more appropriate method. If you've got a whole bunch of different ways of stretching that work, the only way to really tell which type of stretching works best and how long and all these parameters is to get two different groups of people trying different approaches. You get a large group of people, one group does this, the other group does this, and then you can start to notice some of the subtle differences in the particular styles. So we'll put some references in this course that go through some of the evidence. The highest form of evidence is called a systematic review. That's when you take all of the studies that have measured stretching and you pool the results together to come up with even more robust data. So we'll say one limitation of the studies is they are very narrow in their scope. They're usually looking at a particular population and a particular type of stretching and comparing that with another type of stretching. And you've got to think about the populations that they're doing it in. If someone has never stretched before, they're probably going to get a big result from any intervention. If you took, for example, a gymnast who's been stretching every day for the last 10 years and you wanted to improve their flexibility, they might require something different than someone who's not stretching so often. So the content I'm going through is going to be more aimed at a beginner. If you have found something that works really well for you, that's fine, keep doing that. As I mentioned earlier, all types of stretching tend to have a positive effect, so it's probably still going to be good.